In today's video, we will be painting a pre-painted canvas from the Acrylic Painting Kit for Kids, Paint by Numbers, by Craft Evolved. The link will be in the description below. Welcome to the fourth episode of this 6-part video series. Today we will be painting another pre-painted canvas, and while painting, I will share with you another acrylic painting tips for beginners you may find useful. Just a short recap for those of you who are not watching this video series in recommended order and this episode is your first one. Before I start painting, I will look at the canvas and will find out which colors on the canvas are taking up the largest areas. In most cases, that would be usually sky and ground. It is always recommended to paint from top to the bottom, and because I am right-handed, I paint from the left side of the canvas to the right side. On this pre-painted canvas, the sky is color 6, which is a beautiful blue color. After I'm done painting the sky, I will move to the ground. As you already know from my previous acrylic painting tutorial videos, acrylic paint dries very quickly. And for that reason, when painting, I usually put on the palette only the color I'm using at the moment and do not open another paint until I paint all areas on the canvas with that color. However, in this episode you see my palette being full of paint already. That is because I was painting before I started working on this canvas. So what you see now is my working palette with all the different paints from the previous painting. As I mentioned, you want to start with one color. After you paint all areas on the canvas with that color, then you open a new one. Also, I would like to remind you that when you start painting, always put on the palette only a small amount of paint. You would be surprised how with a little amount of paint, you will be able to cover a lot of area of the canvas. If you put a lot of paint on the palette from the beginning, you would be racing with time. The paint may dry up on the palette before you get to use it because acrylic paints dry very quickly. To slow down the drying process of acrylic paint, I spray the palette with clear water using a spray bottle, and occasionally I spray the palette here and there after every few minutes or so. For me, it takes about 60 to 90 minutes to paint one 9 by 12 inch pre-painted canvas. That is a very long time for acrylic paint. For that reason, spraying your palette during the painting process is a requirement if you don't want your paint on the palette to turn into a rock. You may notice I also sprayed the canvas with water. I like to do it every time before I start the painting. On a wet surface, the acrylic paint flows very easily. You don't have to put a lot of effort into your paintbrush work to cover the canvas with acrylic paint when the surface is sprayed with water. Painting is easier, at least that's how I feel it, but you may have a different preference. I'm showing you how I like to paint, and by no means that is the only recommended or preferred way of painting. Even though you have most likely just starting with painting, and that's why you have purchased pre-painted canvases, it is always good to know or see what other people are doing. Try it yourself and make your own decision about what painting style or method you enjoy the most. It is always good to experiment. Experiments will bring new ideas, and painting will get more and more exciting and fun for you. In today's episode, I will talk a little bit about paintbrushes. This kit comes with paintbrushes of different sizes. When we start painting the canvas, and we always begin with large areas, naturally, you want to use the largest brush available to be able to cover large areas as quickly as possible. If you decide to use a small brush for a large area, it may take you 3 times longer to paint the same area as if you use the large brush. A small brush is used later in the painting process when painting small details. On this canvas, we will definitely need a small brush when painting the cat's ears and face, and then definitely when painting the campfire. Based on your experience, you may switch to the small brush even when painting the trees. Speaking of paintbrushes, when you change the paintbrush from large to small, and then again from small to large, I would recommend to you to always clean the paintbrush between you switch from one to another. You may get carried away with painting for long minutes while leaving a brush laying on a table with paint on it. As I mentioned before, acrylic paint dries very quickly, and if acrylic paint dries on the paintbrush, you may not be able to clean it off. That's where the jar with water comes in handy. In order to extend the lifetime of the paintbrushes, you need to take good care of them. Clean them regularly off the acrylic paint every time during the painting process, and definitely after you are done painting. If you take good care of a paintbrush, it will last you months if not years. If you don't clean your brush off the acrylic paint, you may lose your brush right after the first painting session, and that is definitely not something we want to happen, right? This painting is about to be finished. I hope the whole time you spent painting this pre-painted canvas was relaxing for you, at least as much as it was relaxing for me. I love painting probably because I simply love colors. Let me know in the comment section below, what does a painting mean to you? Do you find it relaxing? Are you looking forward to the next painting session? How often do you paint per week? I always love to read your comments, and I do appreciate every single one of them. If you like this video, please subscribe and share it with your friends. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video, where I will share with you more tips which will help you on your exciting acrylic painting journey.